we appreciate you joining the Bridge to Bridge podcast. Lots to discuss. I know it's been kind of a crazy year for you, but you're from the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, I am.
And what
Yeah,
part?
awesome
What?
to be here. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Yeah, man.
Um, I'm from the
Absolutely.
Bay Area, like an hour south of SF in Saratoga, California.
And did you grow up like coming to the Bay skateboarding a lot, or did you skate more in Saratoga?
Definitely. I mean, I guess when I was growing up, like the first couple years of skating, I would just skate in front of my house and the little boxes that my dad would build for me. I had a two-stair in front of my house, so I skated that for years, flat bar, off it, and everything. But my family would take trips up to SF on the weekends, and I just always had a kind of fascination and awe of the city and of cities in general. So when I started really getting into skating and like filming and looking for street spots, that's when I started going to SF a lot. Like I started filming with like actual local filmers around 12, and then I made good friends with my homie Mike Thompson at like 13 or yeah, around 12 or 13, probably 13. And my mom would drive me up to his place in Millbrae, and then we'd take the BART into the city and just skate around. And we were filming for that video Mortigi Tempo.
How was how was Saratoga PD or San Jose PD? Are they pretty skate friendly? Or what would you say is the most skate friendly police department in the Bay Area? Like
In the Bay?
yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe SJ,
Got
SF. I don't know, because I always felt the same way about cops until I came to the East Coast, and then I was like, wow, these police officers don't give a shit.
Oh yeah, Thrasher should do a most skate friendly police department in the country award each year. That would be
Yeah,
rad.
but then I'm sure they would take note of it and realize they're being too lenient.
Yeah,
Right.
that would mess up.
Let's see, I got tickets for skating in San Jose and in, I think I got a ticket in SF, maybe not. But people, SF cops were dicks to me, but they definitely had more shit going on than in
San
Saratoga.
Jose. Yeah. Well, San Jose is pretty crazy. Um, so when you were like younger, you started to, I'm sure, explore the possibility of being a professional skateboarder. You probably got a lot better over the years. What was that moment where you were kind of like, damn, this is something that I can make money doing, and this is something that I can do like as my profession?
Fuck, I don't know. I think I think I just never really questioned that, because I started skating so young that I just always wanted to do that and always imagined being a pro skater. And like I wasn't actually doing any research, like what could I do this for a living, is this possible? I just assumed skaters got paid like anybody else. I remember reading in an interview when I was like 12 or something that Mikey Taylor had an Acura Integra, and I just automatically assumed that it must look exactly like a fucking the car that my neighbors were driving, like some nice SUV, like top of the line. I was like, damn, that's the car I want, an Acura Integra. But during high school, when everybody else was getting ready to go to college, and when I was being asked by friends' parents, what do you want to do for a living? And I wasn't going to be so bold as to just be like, yeah, I want to be a pro skater. Since I knew they would have follow-up questions for me that I wasn't going to be able to answer, I would say things like, oh, I want to work at a skateboard magazine. I want to bridge the gap between writing and skateboarding, because I was into English and poetry in high school. And that always was a good answer for people. They're, oh, that sounds interesting. That's cool.
When you're
Let me
going through like the
follow.
graduate gauntlet, like you seen the movie The Graduate with Hoffman,
Yeah, for sure.
where they're just firing the questions. He's like, I'm out, dude. Like that was always the worst, dude. And you're just like, you give a polished answer or something that you just actually like have no interest in, and you're like, all
Yep.
right, like what did I just do?
Yeah. I mean, it's way too big a question to be able to solve like the way that people want you to have those answers ready.
When you were 12, did you put in a lot of hours? Or when did you start putting in 5, 6 hour days skating, 8 hour days, 12 hour days?
Probably like eight, nine, definitely nine. I remember I would go to the first skate park I ever skated, Rangsdorf Park in Mountain View. I would go there and spend a lot of time just like learning how to drop in and stuff around 8 years old. And then I would come home and I would skate in the yard. And then, if my mom needed to get groceries on the way home, I'd just be skating in the parking lot. And that was like kind of always the thing. I remember in PE in high school, so either 14 or 15, they were like having us fill out forms for what kind of activities we did outside of school, what kind of exercise we got. And they're like, how much exercise do you get? How many hours a day? And I wrote 7. Just thinking like, all right, I get off school at 3 and then I have to go to bed at 10. So I'm pretty much skating the whole time. So I feel like that was it from maybe like 8 until, who knows, until I started like doing other stuff,
Right.
around the age of like 18, when you start getting coffees with friends and shit like that.
Was it always just someday like the time just flew by, or was there a point where you were like, I got to do fundamentals. Like, I don't want to skate for these last 2 hours, but I need to I'm not leaving till I get 50 kick flips straight,
No, I do remember that. I do remember that being a thought because I was just like bored and wanted to see how many I could do. And it's like a contest with yourself, like, can I do 100 kickflips in a row? And I do remember trying to fuck up my shoes. If I had like a pair I didn't like, I would just do so many kickflips just to fuck them up. So it would prove to my parents that I needed a new pair.
Nice. I would just try that so people wouldn't call me a poser. I would just take the shoe off and scrape it on the board because I couldn't do the kickflip. And then someone, what are you doing, dude? Like, oh, nothing. I'm polishing the board.
Hey, so when did the like first sponsors start coming through, and did you feel like that kind of added a different aspect to your skateboarding as far as pressure goes and needing to produce?
Hmm. Um, let's see. So I got a shop sponsor. No, let's see. I got first sponsor was just like this dude, Craig Glover, who was the team manager of Shorties and Osiris, or maybe he was the kids team manager, because remember there was that whole program.
Mm-hmm.
I was he just gave me like one box of Shorties and Osiris stuff, and then a couple more boxes of Osiris things, because he was kind of phasing out of that. And that I had no idea really what I was doing. I was 10, so that's pretty young. They came to town once and I skated with them, and I was like trying to ollie the gaps that Chris Dobstaff was frontside half gab healing.
Dude,
um,
insane.
but then like 12, I got a shop sponsor, which made me feel just acknowledged, recognized. It was right across the street from the skate park, so it felt cool. But it was like a mellow shop, and I would think I was the first person they sponsored.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't like a rigorous structure to like, oh, that guy's sponsored, that guy's not. He's trying to be, he's not, you know. But at this, then 13, I got on Powell Flow, and I think I was stressing mostly over filming, because the filming I was doing was with San Jose people. Richard DeVera was filming me, and he was filming other people like John Nguyen, Peter Raffin, Daryl Angel, John Choi.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be on those guys' level, and was constantly trying to prove myself. And they would, we'd have these deadlines, and I would think to myself like, fuck, why can I do these like tech tricks on my box at home but can't do them in the streets? Like, I gotta, like, there's this big gap, and that was probably stressing me out. I don't think really the sponsors were really stressing me too much. It was more of a stress of like being sponsored by people that you don't see all the time, and you're like nervous about trying to tell them, hey, I've been skating well, without bigging yourself up or anything.
Yeah. Did you partake in like a lot of contests and travel to a lot of places where contests were happening to kind of get your name out there, or was it more just putting clips together and getting it out that way?
I I skated contests when I was the first ones I remember doing, like the first contest I won, I was 10. There was right in front of Circle A skate shop in downtown San Jose. There was I think it was Circle A put it on. It was just like they shut down the street in front and they put on 3 contests, and it was sponsored by Energy Boards that
Mm-hmm.
Ron Allen was backing. I think it was his company. And that was fun. I just did it because I was a kid and like kind of had
That was
no
the thing
ideas
to
about
do.
skateboarding.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I mean, that was the, I mean, I partook in contests in the city, had no business being in them, but just you wanted to do it, you wanted to feel it out, try it out. I mean,
Yeah,
I can imagine that was a good thing for you, right?
for sure. And I remember hearing about stuff like Castle. I mean, I was like a 10-year-old kid trying to be just like really enthralled by skateboarding and trying to get into it and wanted to do just that and be acknowledged by other skaters and stuff. So I was like looking at Ryan Sheckler's bio. I remember that. And it's like, oh, he won all these castle contests. I'm like, damn, what is this? Like, I want to be in that, but never jumped at that opportunity or anything. I mean, I don't even know how you get into that shit, but I would just do the contests that were at Sunnyvale Park, which is the park I grew up skating. And then I
Mm-hmm.
remember I went to a Zoomies couch tour when I was 16. And that was when I was between sponsors, between Powell and trying to get on Alien. So that I won that, and I got like, I just used all the Zoomies money for boards. I just took like 10 boards. So I was set for the summer. That was fun.
What when you started to come into San Francisco, did you feel like it was kind of tough to make that transition as like I mean, you mentioned like being able to do stuff on your box at home and then struggling to kind of do it out in the streets. Coming here, did you feel like you were able to kind of pick up on that pretty quickly, or was that a struggle for a while?
Um, yeah, you're kind of asking like, is what's it like to grow up skating street spots and getting used to how difficult it is to skate in a kind of more like
Big city,
rough city like
right?
like SF.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like being really excited. I don't remember it being that difficult because there's just so much shit. Like, remember the Greyhound station 7 stair?
Yeah, Trans Bay.
Yeah, that thing's so amazing. I just loved skating stairs back then, and that thing was so smooth. And we would skate spots around there. Like there was this business business, I don't know, the skyscraper with a plaza in front with like some random shit, like a manual pad, and then you can hit a flat ground trick and then go down a 4 stair. And it's just like I was 12 to 15 and able to find my own spots that were smaller and just exciting for me, like the little brick ledge that's on the bank. It's a knobbed spot that you skate the knob.
Mm-hmm.
That was always like so fun for me because I was watching Bobby Pulio skate small banks with good texture like that one, and I was just hyped. And then the arrow gap down on the Embarcadero,
Right. Thing
which
is
is a
crazy.
tiny gap, but
Yeah.
perfect for a 13-year-old, So I just think like, yes, street skating can be hard, but in a city that's that big, and when you're not trying to do exactly what everyone else is doing, when you're fine doing your own stuff, it was really fun and easy to get into.
Mark, you seem like to me, and I don't know you that well, Mike knows you better, like someone when you were a kid where you maybe were frustrated because you saw where you wanted to be at and you just wanted to like get there ASAP, as far as like, you know what I mean? Like wanting to be at the level ahead of where you were. Is that kind of something that was prevalent skating, and are you still feel like that? That like there's still so much you're like, I got to be getting there, or are you at this place where you're like, now I need to create stuff that's there's nothing to see and be like, I want to be there. I have to create that.
Well, I think when I was a kid, I did feel like that, but at the same time, that doesn't accurately get at the whole picture because I think skating is just so much fun. And luckily, like people there's so many skaters who talk about skateboarding just being for fun. So yeah, you do want to progress and accomplish these things and like get to your like achieve your goals or whatever, but just like I think there's still a huge value placed on just skating with your friends and just like whatever, skating a bank to curb for 2 hours at a shitty skate park. And there's, you know, a clear line of progression throughout my adolescence or whatever, but I think it's kind of a stable line of also just having a great time the whole way through. But I do remember at like 18 losing sleep over the idea that like, holy shit, there's so much left to be done. I want to go to like that rail in Austin, or in Houston, Texas, the Tranquility Rail. Like, what if it's as small as it looks in the videos? Maybe you could do this or that. Nobody's really done that. Like, oh, what the fuck? Like, why don't people do this? What? I don't get it. People are just doing the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like fucking losing sleep. Like front blunt flip out on a handrail. It's never been done, which
Right.
I think I was thinking about that. You know, it's now you think like that's almost a token tech trick on a rail, but back then like maybe like one person had done it. I can see it in my head, the one that I'm thinking of. But yeah, so there's always real moments where I was like so enthralled and excited by this vision I had of progression. And I think in the last year filming for Flora, I really felt that way too. Like I had so much I wanted to do and always thinking about the next spot and the next trick and like, fuck, I want to just like go to the park first and like try to see if I could do this on the flat bar. Like maybe that would work down a rail all the way up until the end. And, you know, back in mid-November, 2021. And so I didn't get around to doing a ton of those tricks. So they're still in the back of my mind, but like right now, I'm just trying to chill the fuck out because last year was so stressful. And I've been like only cruising around when my friends are skating and if it feels fun or if I'm bored and I just want to do something. I haven't been thinking about filming at all. I've been trying to like actually unhinge my mind from filming and just like focus on normal shit.
Yeah,
Having fun
Mike
again.
was saying you pumped out some pretty high volume in 2021 as far as footage.
Yeah, it was a busy year for sure.
Yeah, the guy pumped out a lot of footage. Like, have you done a lot of like research and spent some time like understanding the business of skateboarding and kind of that side to kind of better yourself in your positioning within skateboarding as a business?
No, definitely not.
Is that something that you're like looking to try and do, or are you just more for getting out there and hitting tricks?
Yeah, for sure. I think the way I think about skating is like the actual act of it, um, and the community I build from it. So like, you know, if I'm thinking on more like career trajectory point of it, I'm like, okay, what who do I want to be around? Who do I want to surround myself with? Am I in a good spot? And the answer has always been for a long time, yes. Like I love being on Adidas and feel like everybody there has my back. And from a career standpoint, I'm sure like if I wanted to explore non-skate jobs, I think I would be welcome to. Um, so because I have that kind of safety net, I don't really think about the business side of it too much. I feel like secure in doing whatever feels right, which right now is just skating and going on trips and continuing to make projects with people that I like.
Do you have a good installation for, I assume, landing 2021 Skater of the Year and Thrasher? Do you have an installation for all the inquiries and all the people trying to get a hold of you? Or do you just keep like an inbox sitting somewhere with like 20,000 unread messages and
Like
you're like,
myself, trying to get him on our show.
I like for this, you know, you're a homie, so obviously I saw the message and I was down. Um, for other stuff like DM things, I can't read them all. So I just kind of scan through and look for ones that look cool. I don't really accept too many, but like I still appreciate reading little things here and there. And sometimes you get a crazy one like, hey, your mom helped fix my wrist, 'cause my mom's a hand therapist. Your mom helped fix my wrist, like congrats on the skater of the year, and I'll respond to something like that. But for all the other like um interviews and things like that, it's mainly they contact Adidas and then Paul Shire will hit me up. So that feels good. I have like a kind of a network.
Business manager, so to speak. I mean, looking at kind of who you are, I mean, I think you're an amazing skateboarder, but we've heard that you're really into movies, and you mentioned that you like poetry and reading. Can you talk a little bit on how you've used that as kind of like a way to step away from skateboarding when you need to?
Yeah. Well, I think so for me, like my my family, obviously not skaters. My dad was an engineer who grew up in Romania and really focused on school to get out of Romania and set up a life for himself and his family out here. My mom's a hand therapist, so a doctor helping other people. My brother he's 4 years older than me, and my only sibling. He's 4 years older than me, was always really good at school, went to Stanford, then got his master's at Stanford in computer programming, and now works at Facebook. So a bunch of like high level professional jobs. And when I was growing up, thinking about like I just want to be a skater, um, that always clicked in my head. I knew I was passionate about it and wanted to do it. But then when I was about 18, I wasn't going to school and I hurt my ankle and I wasn't able to skate, and then realized like, okay, there's a huge part of my life that is going unfulfilled, or like that, if I can't skate at 40 or whatever, like I'm gonna need to do something else, and I got to figure out what that is, because I was seeing my brother like really get into reading, and my dad had used music, art, and literature as a way to acclimate and to ensconce. It's the word I'm looking for. To just really enter into American culture and to get a deeper sense of it. So I was like, okay, what have I liked? What who am I outside of a skateboarder? And I gravitated to those kinds of art, mainly novels, but also just like nonfiction and poetry and film. And those things opened up and spoke to a part of me that wasn't always fulfilled by skateboarding. So then when I started back skating after that ankle injury, when I was 18, I was skating all the time, realizing that this now skating wasn't fulfilling every part of me. So a duality kind of opened up, and I realized, okay, this part of my life is not being fulfilled. And that's the part of my life that I'm going to live with at 40, 50, 60, when I can't skate. So
Don't forget
after
70 and
learning,
don't forget
go ahead,
70
Dom.
and 8. Don't forget 70 and 80 and 90. You're rolling there easy.
Thanks. Um, so then I burned myself out a little bit on skating. Just like, you know, finally getting on Habitat and hooking up with Adidas and traveling the world and like going to really cool places, but not getting such deep intellectual experiences since I was out of school, and seeing my friends have those experiences, be fulfilled in that way, like my parents are and speak about, and my brother. So I went to school, and then I was like, all right, this is amazing. So now, after coming back from school, I feel like those two sides of my personality are both fulfilled. And now, in a normal week, I'll go out skating, work on a video, hang out with friends, and explore the city and be active, but also come home and read or watch really good movies, and like have a dialogue with myself, if not anyone else, about the themes I'm interested in and I'm exploring in my own head. Like, for November, I just had a little game with myself where I was like, all right, in everything I watch and read, I'm gonna pick top three instances of conversation. Like, when two people are having an amazing conversation, like, what is it going to be from all the books and movies I watch and read? And that was a fun thing. So I'm just like kind of exploring ideas and having a conversation with myself in my head. And that was a big month of skating too. So I'm doing these two things at once, and it feels like I'm fulfilling myself and just having a good time overall.
Dude, tell us about a very cool project. I only got to look at it briefly. Life Before seemed like an amazing project that you were a part of, and something I need to grab. But maybe you can tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, for sure. Here it is. This is a book that my friend Theo Constantino made. His brand, Paradigm Publishing, is a publishing company that he started in 2013, and that's about the time I met him. He was putting out his first book then, and he got me on board. We were both really stoked about books. That's right when I started going to school for literature. And over the years, we formed a really deep connection that was always grounded by our love of books. And I would copy edit stuff for him, just look over things, make sure there weren't any typos. And I wrote an introduction for a book he published, Photographs by John Rentschler of Love Park in the Final Days of Love. So I was like kind of a little bit of a part of that. And now he's moving on to other things, and he wanted to make a book showcasing all of the relationships and connections he had formed over the past 10 years of making books, or 8 years, 9 years. And that all the artists are in this book, and he gathered them. There's 14 of them. He gathered them together and asked them to make art in response to the idea of climate change and the way that our climate, it will soon be irrevocably changed and will change our life. So this is the title. Life Before gets at the way that these artists have imagined life before climate takes over our lives. I mean, in some ways it has, these forest fires, these huge storms, the pandemic, but
sewage spills. That's a popular one by me right now, is because I surf a lot out in Venice, and the spills are like, I feel like it's every other week, 8 million gallons. You're like,
oh my God, yeah. So these are that was the question. Life before. What is life before? And these people, these artists and friends of mine and Theo's, work together they worked separately on their own ideas, but we came together over Zoom and like chatted and got each other inspired, talked about what we were going to do. And I wrote the introduction for it, trying to coalesce the ideas of the group and to just talk about what Paradigm is, the collective, the family. And yeah, it was, this is a collaboration with Adidas. So Adidas helped fund the publishing of the book. Wow. And Theo released a capsule with Adidas, like a bag, shoes, tracksuit, and yeah.
Tracksuit. Tell me more about the tracksuit.
Yeah, it's dope. The pants are amazing. And yeah, there's a jersey too.
Very cool.
are there some other projects similar to that you're working on for the future that you can kind of talk about, or?
Actually, I don't think I have any right now. My future uh is looking really, I just like cleaned the plate. I'm just sitting back right now, relaxing. The only thing I have in the offing is the SOTY trip.
Where's that going to be at?
I think we're gonna go to Sardinia.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's gangster. Our father's from Sicily, similar
nice.
upbringing. You know, I know you mentioned your pops in Romania. Our dad came from Sicily and actually was working in waste management.
Oh shit.
Literally, like, you know, was up at 3 in the morning every day, working hard, and was able to pay for us to go to school. And you
Bringing
know,
Mike skateboards that he'd find in that people had thrown away. I remember he brought home a couple skateboards for Mike for sure.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
but so I mean, I think that's all amazing. You know, we look back at your last year and all the parts that you put in and some of the folks that you worked with. Can you talk a little bit about working with some of the filmers and you know how they kind of helped you along the way?
Yeah, for sure. So the filmers that who played the biggest role in this were Justin Albert and Matt Schleier. Um, the footage that I put out in 2021 came from 2020 and 2021, with the most footage probably coming from last year, 2021. But it started, this batch of footage kind of started during the pandemic. After, at the beginning of 2020, I broke my foot in the Bay Area and then came back to New York and just started getting into skating again when the pandemic hit. And so Matt Schleier lives in Brooklyn. We, you know, hesitantly at first started going out into the city when other people weren't around and when businesses weren't in session. And we skated all these spots that weren't really skatable before. That's how we got the Courthouse to Blubba line, because the traffic was so light and there were fewer pedestrians. But yeah, we got maybe like 4 minutes of footage during the pandemic, during the worst of the pandemic, you know, from like March to June of 2020. And then I hadn't seen my mom in a while, so I'd missed her birthday. So I went and stayed with her in Saratoga and in 2020, and was just skating with Justin the whole time. I stayed for like 3 months because I got sketched on the flight about traveling, and it just felt good to be, she's got a backyard, you know, it just felt good to be out there after being cooped up in New York during the pandemic. So skated with Justin, and also Max Scharf from Spitfire,
Hmm.
because I was just at the beginning of the pandemic, that's when I got on Spitfire, and I was thinking like of filming a Spitfire part by the end of 2020, but that didn't happen. So I was filming with Mac and with Justin, and then at the end of the summer, I came back to New York and kept filming with Matt, and we'd go to like Miami. Oh shit, no, he didn't come on that one actually. We went to North Carolina, and we go up to Boston and out to Cincinnati. And yeah, we just kept on building, and I had this idea for Flora to make a handrail video part, or at least a handrail section where the tricks mirror each other and fold over each other and come back, and wanted to put in some MBDs out there. So I was like going around to all these rails that Matt had in mind. He's good about finding spots. He's really good at that. And we go out on sessions, and I mean, we've been filming together since I graduated school in 2017. So it's been we're close friends, and we're always hanging out. So it just feels natural, just like it is with me and Justin. Whenever I'm back in the Bay, I'm always skating with him. And Justin, when things started really kicking off in 2020, like when I realized that my Gazelle colorway was actually coming out. Wait, did I just say 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 2021 is when things really started kicking off. Like midway through the year, I realized, oh shit, I have to my Gazelle colorway's coming out. My Spitfire part is kind of done, and I should round it up or round it off. And Justin's like, dude, we have so much footage. Like, you gotta put it out. I was saying to him, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I don't really want to put out because I just want this to be a handrail part. I don't know if I like this clip, that clip. Like, they're getting old. He's like, you got to put it out before it gets old. So he would come to New York and help Matt out with filming. He'd stay at my place, and we would have stress sessions where I would struggle to come up with spots every day because after skating New York for the whole pandemic, for the whole like worst of the pandemic, March to June, I was fucking dry, running dry on spot ideas. So yeah, we did that, but then went back to the Bay and started thinking about all these old rail spots with Justin's help, and missioned out to places like Manteca for that tiny red rail, and up in what's that town?
Tracy, Stockton.
I'm thinking of that kinked rail at the Triple Kink Rail School.
Oh, man, I don't know. I can't think
Like,
of it.
it's in I think it's near Vallejo. It could be in Vallejo, but
Maybe
yeah,
Fairfield.
Richmond.
not as far as Fairfield, but yeah, it's in the East Bay. Yeah.
What kind of, I know music is a huge part of, it's intertwined with skating. What kind of music do you like skating to, and what kind of music do you like putting your footage to? Like some of your top groups or albums.
When I'm out skating, like skating around downtown New York, when I'm skating around my area and not trying to go to the park and like learn a trick or whatever, I'll listen to like fast-paced stuff. I mean, I kind of gravitate to indie music mostly, but I just like to have high energy, fast-paced stuff with like a good beat. I do. So like lately I've been listening to Perfume Genius, which kind of fits in that category. He's got a lot of fast-paced songs that are still like indie rock shit. But lately I've been listening to some electronica too. And as far as putting my skating to music, I kind of want to do the same thing. Stick to the category of music that I've always been interested in, like that. I feel like, I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff. I don't just listen to indie rock, but sometimes I feel like that kind of gets at kind of speaks to my personality. And then Justin Albert will listen to that stuff too, and that's how like we kind of collaborate. But I would say he's way better at picking songs than I am, when as far as like knowing what's actually going to work in a video part. I hear something and I think that's like the feeling I want, but he knows, no, that song's not going to work because it doesn't build, it doesn't have any variety. Like, we need something else. I need something I can edit to. But yeah.
When you were sitting there at the beginning of the year, did you tell yourself like, dude, I'm gonna come out with 4 parts this year and really kind of slam the lid on this, or did it kind of come together gradually?
It came together really gradually. I did a 9 Club podcast in August, and they were like, what about SOTY this year? And I was like, not this year. This year's like almost done. But I in late September, when Justin and I were finishing up our Gazelle part, and we had gotten a lot of stuff for Flora that I knew was going to be in Flora. Like, I had the idea that Flora would come out at the end of the next year. And like, I'm in conversation with the dudes at Thrasher. They, like, Burnett hit me up in the middle of the year and asked me like, hey, when's this next big Mark part going to come out? I want to know so that we could plan stuff out. Like, it's not so mysterious as maybe people think it is. It's like, okay, if you're in the scene, people know who you are, and you're dropping stuff that people like, then you're going to be a contender for SOTY. So you can work with them and be like upfront about stuff. So I told Burnett like, oh no, it's not till next year. But then at the end of September, there was talk amongst people at Adidas, because my Gazelle part was coming out, that they wanted me to put more stuff out, because they had heard from people that, like, you know, so and so is going to drop a part and so's got another part, but it's like maybe not as good as you would think. So really, like, Mark has a great chance, and doesn't seem like anybody's going to put out the next fully flared this year, and Mark has all this footage. So I was like, all right, fuck it, we'll try it, because I had that Gazelle part coming out, and I knew I had other footage, but I was like, all right, we still got some time. I can like, see, the thing is, I like the deadline stress. I like the idea of like just working and like getting into the workflow and losing yourself in the work of it, and being kind of monomaniacal about it.
You're a game 6 guy, dude.
What does that mean?
Game 6, you know, like in the playoffs, Jordan, when he had the flu, he had to show up. I mean, Pippen says he didn't have the flu, but
I don't know if
Pippen,
that's game 6, but yeah.
oh, are you sure that wasn't game 6? Well,
I,
maybe it was a different game. Game 6, though,
anyways,
basically means like you need to win the game, you rise up, like you crush it in game 6. And that's,
yeah,
you're a game 6 guy, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, I really like that feeling of like the pressure mounting and feeling like, you know, whatever you're, if you're in the zone, if you are having some doubts, but you know you can get past them, like that is just such a fun place to be in, where I'm like, fuck, this could be really good. I guess I feel comfortable with video part deadlines, since I've been doing it since I was a kid. You know, what I explained earlier about like being 12, 13, 14 and like stressing out over deadlines. It's just a good time to not feel, it's a good time to not really worry about feeling dedicated, because sometimes, you know, if you're like gung-ho about doing shit, it can come off a little weird, like you're too focused on one thing, and you're not like a laid back person who's just going with the flow. Like it can be a little, I don't know,
OCD,
imposing. What'd you say?
OCD maybe.
Yeah, but then but I am kind of like, just have little bits of OCD
Me too,
um
for sure.
Yeah,
tendencies.
it's
So
you're a little too Ari Goldish. Like, you know, in Entourage, he's always self-absorbed in something like nonstop. And that's cool when, like you're saying, it's for you're like have your eyes on the prize, but to always be so self-absorbed to where you're missing out and everything shut
yeah,
off can be too much.
exactly. So I said, okay, this is a great time when I can really fucking focus on something and feel unapologetic about that. I'm just gonna go in, and I've had this idea about getting all these rail tricks that will fit together in a part, and now everybody is behind me and telling me, yes, whatever you're doing, do it. So Adidas gave me so much support for the rest of the year,
What does that
with just
support?
like helping. What's that?
Like, what does that mean? Like, how do they, like, what do they give to you in support? They just like, hey, like, we're gonna give you the funds to go travel where, you know, like, is that what that means?
Yeah, definitely. It means that that I can try. I mean, Adidas is good about travel, you know, they're definitely not leaving you in the lurch when you need to go on a team trip. Of course, like they're paying for you, but then you can go on other filming missions. You know, normally it's supposed to be like, all right, are you filming for Adidas? Then we'll pay for it. But sometimes, even if it's for a habitat part, they'll cover the bill.
Right.
And this, at the end of this year, um, it was like, no matter what you're filming, or at the end of last year, no matter what you're filming for, we got you on travel. So it was like, all right, like a trip to Cleveland, just a 1 hour flight, because I think, oh, the weather's looking good, I think I'm going to go back to the CSU rail uh, tomorrow. They're like, yeah, no problem. So that was a lot of fun. I took a lot of quick flights from here to Cleveland, to Cincinnati. Where else did I go? Fuck, a lot to the Bay Area a lot. I went to New Orleans on a trip with them. I guess that's kind of what I was doing. Like,
Was it
It
a
must
lot of
have
fun to
been.
skate the pier?
What's that?
Was it a lot of fun to skate the pier? What was that vibe like for you?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was also another trip. Like Justin was finishing up the Gazelle part, and he was like, dude, there's a really nice pier section at the beginning, but it feels too short. I want to start off with like 5 clips there. We need like 1 or 2 more. So I flew out to SF for a week, and that's when we got that ollie ollie backside flip line,
Hmm.
and I think something else, maybe not. But
Wait,
yeah, that was
wait,
just so fucking fun. The first time I skated there, I think it was on my birthday, August 3rd of last year, and it was just such a good birthday present because I I skated the pier when I was a kid, just doing like I think I was probably a 10 and couldn't actually front blunt, but would go across the top of the
Okay.
mani pads
Yep.
and just stall a front blunt and drop off the edge because
Hmm.
there were curbs, so it wasn't too scary. But I remember doing it on like all 4 of them back when the fourth one wasn't didn't have shit on it. But yeah, so skating it again was so awesome, and like skating it after so many years where I've come into such knowledge of skating, like from actually doing it and from watching videos, like and skating real plazas like Love Park, and getting used to that culture, and then coming back to SF where I never really felt like there was a plaza. Like Third and Army is a great spot, but it's not a plaza.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it just felt so amazing to have that culture like in SF for a second. And I guess I don't know, is it still there really?
It is. Yeah. It got capped, and the next day it got uncapped. So
Oh, so is it fully uncapped now?
it's not fully. It's skatable.
don't tell him
Parts.
it's uncapped, Mike. We might lose him for the last couple minutes. He's gone, dude. You know what I mean?
It's skatable. It's uncapped in certain areas. Some guys came in and went to town on it, but yeah, I mean it's such an I love it. It's a lot of fun for me.
Mike's
Uh,
always out there.
I am, dude. I'm
Yeah,
Do
it's
you,
such a good place.
do you ever skate, connect with Nico? We had him on the show, Nico Haraga.
I see him around. I say hi.
Yeah.
I'm homies with Lil Dre and Tafari, and he's good friends with them. So um when when I see him around, like I remember just a couple months ago I saw him at Tompkins, and I had to go over to him and congratulate him on his role in Booksmart because I had watched that movie on the plane back from the Bay, and I was like, this movie's fucking hilarious, dude. He kills it in this. So I told him, and he was hyped.
You talked about you know enjoying the pressure, and what is that? How does that affect your health after the fact? You know what I'm saying? And are you able to kind of decompress now that it's all done?
What did you say? How does that affect how you're able to
Uh,
decompress after?
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of stress to put on yourself, on your mind. I'm someone who's really big on mental health, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people who work in these really high level, high pressure situations, you know, uh, usually have good ways to kind of decompress and take that all in. Can you just
Mhm.
talk on that just a little bit?
Yeah, I've been struggling a little bit with that. What was Dom? What was your Entourage reference? What's the dude's name?
That was the Ari Gold,
Ari Gold.
basically the fully, like 24/7 self-absorbed. No offense,
Yeah.
his real name's Ari Emanuel. He's Mark Wahlberg's agent, but in the show, he's 24. He's never off. He's always in Ari
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah. So I guess I could be like that, but my dad was a little bit like that, and I'm wary of becoming of like in the movie Click. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but
Oh
he clicks
yeah,
past his life because he's just trying to get a promotion. He's like, I want to get the
Christopher.
promotion. It's like, oh fuck, you lost like a year and a half of your life. Because it kind of feels like that, when you're so focused on one thing, you miss out on a lot of shit. So I was having a lot of fun, and I'm super excited about the award, and feeling really confident about that. But so on the other side of it now, I'm just, as I said, trying to unhinge, disconnect myself from like, gotta film this, gotta film that, gotta have a project rolling, and um, just trying to enjoy, just like still live deeply, because that's the most fun about losing yourself in a project like a video part. You feel like you're really deeply connected to something that you know really well. So it's a deep experience of life. And I'm still trying to do that, but with shit that I'm not as familiar with. Like I've been going to museums a bit, just looking at the same paintings a lot and just trying to get, just like noticing what that does to look at something for longer, to feel a deeper connection arise just out of being there with something. um and I'm kind of pushing against the idea that I need to have goals in my everyday life, but that is kind of how I'm wired. I like to be able to look back on my day and say, I did this, I did that, whether it's chores or enjoying like a good meal or something like that.
What about your
But
personal relationships with, whether it's a fiance or family or girlfriend, stuff like that? I mean, are you able to kind of reignite that flame as well?
yeah, so I was in a relationship for 4 years, and then in April I ended things. And I I have a really good support group. My family, a lot of friends, Justin Albert, for instance, was a really close one when I was going through that and needing to feel heard and acknowledged. Um, so that was definitely my way through that. But I came out feeling really good and excited, and I reconnected with the girl that I had a little thing with in 2015, and we spent a lot of good time over the summer, and just kind of like kept things light, and I was just focusing on skating. And then in September we were like, all right, let's see if this works.
Dope.
And um and yeah, so I was going through all this SOTY pressure while entering a new relationship, which was pretty tough to balance. But it actually helped a little bit, because going into things, as I said, I can be a little OCD, so I like to, I'm like thinking about her all the time and wanting to be there. But that can be a lot in a new relationship when you want to like make sure you respect each other as separate people. So having the SOTY stuff was really good. I was constantly away, and like we're just seeing each other like once every 3 weeks, hang out for a couple days. And but yeah, there were some really stressful times that her name's Claire, had to help me through, because I'm stressing, and the only way for me to talk is to talk about the thing I'm stressed about. And it was difficult for her because she's having to learn how to help me calm down, because I can't do it myself, since it's like it's not going away unless I'm filming shit. But it's also like a wake up call to me, like, all right, you know if you're in a relationship, you gotta
Focus.
be the captain of your own mental health. You can't leave that to someone else. So that's what I've been working on lately, is like self-soothing, kind of looking for shit, meditating a bit. Just reading helps me, listening to music, going for a drive. I'm in therapy, and that helps for sure.
Yep.
um but yeah, so, and now that she came with me to the SOTY party, which was awesome, because I felt like she had definitely helped me a lot through that stress, and it was amazing to share that moment with her. And then we just hung out with each other's families. Like I went and stayed with her family. She was staying with mine in SF, or in the Bay Area, and then I went out to see her mom in Vermont and her dad in New Jersey, and she's staying with me now. So it's been a
Did you
it's been a chill time where we are just kind of like relaxing, and I have no schedule, so we can just hang out as much as we want. It's nice.
when you go to a spot like Jersey or Vermont, do you ever go, "Hey, I'm sorry, I know we're doing the family thing today, but I have to just skate this spot. I just need like 10 minutes at this spot. I have to just get a little does that happen to you, or are you pretty good about just being like, like you know, you're off, you're relaxing. You just did 10,000 hours of footage. It's like,
Yeah. I mean,
make
dude,
point.
I've traveled a lot. So the desire, the need to like skate this one spot. I mean, I've skated a lot of spots. There's a slim chance that we're gonna go by a spot that I'm like, I never skated that and I have to.
Yeah.
And we went to Vermont for 4 days, like over last weekend, and it was covered in snow. I went skiing. That was fun, but yeah, Jersey was cold. I'm like so not skating right now unless my friends are having a really good time and they're like, "Hey, Mark, come out skate with us," or if I'm just like cruising around, you know.
Well, dude, I think we could talk all day. Before we let you go, we do a quick trivia round.
Nice.
It's called the bridge to bridge lightning round, and it's made extremely difficult on purpose.
And by the way, Mark, we can do this offline, but Dom does a very good impression of Christopher Walken. He'll have to do that for you. But I'm gonna grab this belt real quick so we can show you. And Dom, you can explain it.
Sick.
So we do the bridge to bridge lightning round. We have a belt. It's the bridge to bridge champ. It's the questions get progressively more difficult. So they're tough. It's hard. A lot of people don't get out of round one. It's one of those things we make tough on purpose. But you know, you should be good here. And I know Mike, is gonna jump on the first question. There's the belt.
That's the belt, bro.
The current belt
shit.
holder is Jeremy Fish, who he's done some design work, for graphic design for boards and stuff like that. But he's a well-known artist in San Francisco. Has his own day, Jeremy Fish Day.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the belt. And if you win, you can, you know, we'll get it to you and make sure you can, you know, put it on in the garage somewhere. Yeah. So Mike has a first question for you.
All right, let's do this.
All right, so there's a skate house in North Beach where actually some
Six
of
Newell.
okay, dude, he got
Dude.
it right off the bat.
Damn, dude.
Newell House, he got it.
Well, okay. Here's question number 2. There's a one-way alley in San Francisco. It connects Grant Ave in Chinatown and Columbus Ave in North Beach. And it's named after a Beat Generation writer who spent a lot of time in the Bay Area. He's a beatnik. He was a Beat Generation writer, well known.
All right, I'm gonna take a guess here. I'm gonna say it's Ginsburg.
Damn.
Okay, wait. We will allow one redemption out of question 2 because the next 2 questions are so hard. We're gonna give what's called.
Wait, is it? Okay, go ahead. Explain.
So this is an artist I've seen. You're a fan of this writer. Sorry, not an artist. It's a writer.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Kerouac.
Kerouac, that's right.
Okay.
Jack Kerouac Alley. Actually, I did not know that's the alley connecting Grant Ave in Chinatown. And
Yeah, right by
Columbus.
City Lights.
Yep, dope bookstore.
Okay, we're starting to get real tough. This question, this should be a conflict of interest because Jeremy Fish actually came up with this question, who's the current belt holder. So it's almost like, you know what I mean? It's not right, dude, because he's trying to hold on to this thing. So what tailor designed the first pair of pants for Levi Strauss during the gold rush? And here is a hint. His grandson started a world famous clothing line in San Francisco in 1935. They also make heavy duty pants. So again, you just have to name the family name of the tailor who designed the first pair of pants for Levi Strauss during the gold rush. And his grandson years later started a world famous clothing line. They make very durable pants. San Francisco brand, 1935.
Fuck.
And these pants are worn by skaters too.
Wait, hold on. Can you just tell me the question one more time?
Yep. Okay. So basically, there was a tailor who designed the first pair of pants for Levi Strauss during the gold rush. The name of that tailor, you can get the name because his grandson started a world famous clothing line in San Francisco in 1935. They also make heavy duty durable pants.
I'm gonna give you a hint.
Well, no,
I have ideas, but I'm pretty sure they're wrong.
you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta just shoot that gap, man, and just,
Mike's giving me a hint.
Mike, give a hint.
Okay. All right. The hint is
I'll give you a hint. I'll
there's
give you
a
a hint.
hold on. There's a monkey.
Ben Davis.
I mean, that's not a hint. That's the answer, bro.
Hey, that was my answer though.
Jeremy Fish is gonna kill this guy for what he just did. I'm gonna
Yo,
tell
that
him.
was straight up my answer. I just didn't know if it was SF and I didn't know if it was that old.
Hey, we're counting it. You are okay. Now I'm gonna give you a split in the road. It's a movie question. Now you said you're a big movie fan. Are you a fan of old movies?
Yeah,
You are. Okay, so you like old nostalgic movies.
sure.
Okay, you said something in our interview that made me think of a movie. You said that lately you've been going to museums and just looking at
Yeah.
paintings for a while.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the name of the Hitchcock movie
Vertigo.
oh my God, dude, Fish is gonna be so upset, dude. Fish is gonna be so upset at Mike. He's probably gonna he will not talk to Mike anymore.
New champ, baby. Let's go.
Dude, he is not gonna talk to Mike. When I tell him, dude, he's gonna be so upset, Mike. I'm worried because there's a
I
good
should have just said Ben Davis before. I should have second guessed myself.
It's all right, man. You know what? It's good.
You know
that
what my
know.
other movie question was gonna be? Name the movie that takes place in San Francisco where Robert De Niro is harassing Wesley Snipes as a San Francisco Giant baseball player.
Don't know that one. Definitely don't know that one.
That one's The Fan. The Fan.
And
But you got Vertigo, which
Which
hey,
is hella hard.
she's
That one
always
was easy
she's
as
always
fuck.
looking at that. She's always
when
looking
you
at
said
that painting.
museums and SF, I was like, no problem.
Damn it, dude. Fish is an unhappy camper, but Mark is the new champ, dude.
new
So
champ.
so
I about you.
Dude,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to somehow gift you with something since you're in New York and we can't get the belt to you. But
we'll get some. We're thinking about turning the belt into an NFT. That way we can just send it to someone's wallet. You know,
Amazing. I've always wanted an NFT.
yeah, we'll convert it. I know this isn't the same as the 2021 Thrasher Skater of the Year, but hopefully it holds.
I might be, I might be equally stoked on this.
Sick.
It's just the two sides of my life, skateboarding and intellectual domination.
yeah,
Very cool, dude.
Mark, thank you so much for coming on the show. I can't tell you how appreciative we are of you.
Hey, thank you so much. That was so much fun. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Anything for for promoting your work and projects you're working on, we're always happy and we're proud of you, dude. The whole
Thank
Bay
you,
Area is proud to have you as an ambassador. So thanks for coming on, man. Great times.
Good times. Thank you guys.
we'll have Dom send you a walk-in impression.
Please do. My friend has a good one about a turkey, about a Thanksgiving turkey.
Dom, you want to give him a little walk-in impression real
Do
quick?
that one?
Yeah, I don't remember the click thing, but I know he probably said something like, well, you got this remote control, and I'm telling you, this thing is a passport to another life. I can tell you're worried about filming skate videos or something like that. It's going to solve all your problems. Come on. Get your head out of your ass. Come on. Get the remote control. Let's go.
And on that note,
That was so good. All those facial gestures were fucking on point. I
he's
love
got a
that.
bunch.
He's got
made
that
my day.
subtle. He has that subtle. Yeah, dude. So, yeah, man. Well, your next one. I'm always around to make you a custom Christopher Walken piece for like a skate sequence intro, dude. Where it's like,
Nice.
in like, this guy, he's out of his mind. Come on, and then boom, it just starts.
That'll be good.
All right, Mark. Thanks again, brother.
Of course. Have a great day, you guys.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you
Thanks,
soon. Good to meet you, Tom.
Absolutely.